kan? Dapat di grup berarti. Ayo Andri.
found a pussy in a dollar bin. Guess you forgot your galana bin. Can't get loose, get the cats, got your tongue again. Rope burn on your hand, are you numb yet? I can go into medication. Letting go, I can deal with it. That's what do. Stood by your side through all of the lies, watching you cry for me. Get on your knees, apologize please. No, why don't you die for me? Call me the king, really rough things. Give me that diamond ring. Get on your knees, apologize please. No, why don't you die for me? I can go, but I'm dripping in cases. Made a man, I can deal with everything. Every night, you can make me let go. Can give it back. That's what do.
This is my power to express myself.
Why not? Segelas kebaikan Milk Life datang dari dedikasi ekstra. Langsung dari peternakan kami sampai ke meja makan. Untuk ibu yang berdedikasi ekstra bagi keluarga. Milk Life, the milk of life.
YouTube Music. Download aplikasinya sekarang dan nikmati layanan gratis selama 30 hari pertama. Syarat dan ketentuan berlaku.
Your voice, it echoes in my mind. Your voice, it echoes in my mind.
Sing the song Indonesia Raya and Himonej. Sing the song Indonesia Raya and Himonej.
YouTube Music, download aplikasinya sekarang dan nikmati layanan gratis selama 30 hari pertama. Syarat dan ketentuan berlaku.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please turn off your microphone because we will open this conference. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Professor Dr. Andes Davik, MSc PhD, as Chairman of ICCGANT Research Group, the Honorable Mrs. Ika Hesti Agustin, as Chairman of this post-conference, and all paper presenter and participant in this post-conference. First of all, let us pray and praise to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala because His blessing and mercy, we can come together without any obstacle here with healthy condition in this post-conference ICCGANT 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, on this nice occasion, let me deliver the structure of the event today as follows. First, opening. Second, singing Indonesia National Anthem and Hymn UNED. Third, the speech from Mrs. Ika Hesti Agustin as chairman of this post-conference. Fourth, the speech from Professor David as chairman of ICCGANT group. And the last, and the parallel session, which will be moderated by Mrs. Elsa Yuli Kurniawati, and the last is closing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's open this event by saying Basmalah. Now, singing Indonesia National Anthem and Hymn UNED. Okay, now we invite Mrs. Ika Hesti Agustin to give a short speech. To Mrs. Ika, time is yours.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. I respect all of the attendees who have attended here, especially to the committee of this post-conference ICCGANT 2020, which I am a part. First of all, let us say praise to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who give thousands of favors to us. So on this day, we can implement this event with festivities full of strong sense of community and say gratitude to Allah as a Lord of hosts, our we worship stand from a small servant. Before I say something on this greeting, the previous I thank to the MC that has given to me a time to welcome as chairman of the implementing committee in this post-conference ICCGANT 2020. Let me say thanks to the invitation that please present and apologize if we as the committee, especially me personally, I say many sorry with perfect and imperfection and facilities this conference. And many others deficiencies, we on behalf of the committee always try to be a professional, but the limitation makes us just giving like this. Before I close, are kindly requested to all attendants who are present here. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay. That's the speech from Mrs. Ika Hesti Agustin. Thanks for your speech. And the next one is speech from Professor David, as well as opening this post-conference and leading the prayer. To Professor David, time is yours.
Thank you, Melissa. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah wa syukurillah wa la haula wa la quwata illa billah amma ba'du. Selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera untuk kita semuanya. I am as a chairman of SIGAN by reciting Basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I declare this post-conference of ICCGANT formally open to all of you. Al-Fatihah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Hamdan syakirin, hamdan na'imin. Hamdan yuafi ni'mahu wa yukafi mazidah. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalalika wajhika ma'adhimi sultanik. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma inna nas'aluka salamatan fid din wa afiyatan fil jazad wa ziyadatan fil ilmi wa barakatan fil rizq wa taubatan qabla al maut rahmatan 'inda al maut wa maghfiratan ba'da al maut. Allahumma hawwin 'alaina fi syakaratil maut wan najata minan nari wal afwa 'indal hisab. Rabbi zidna ilman warzuqni fahman. Rabbi zidna ilman warzuqni fahman. Rabbana zalamna anfusana wa illam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ibu Melissa, before we give a chance to the parallel speaker, I'll give a presentation about the application of graph and combinatorics. Thank you very much.
Okay, Prof. David. Now we invite Prof. David to give presentation and time is yours.
Give it to a moderator first,
Okay.
then the session will start.
Okay, this session will be moderated by Mrs. Ilsa Yuli Kurniawati. To Mrs. Ilsa, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Miss Melissa. Now the presentation from Mr. David. For Mr. David, time is yours. Prof. David, are you ready, Prof?
Yeah, I'm ready now. Thank you, Elsa. Again, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The purpose of this conference actually to re-invite again the potential speaker who already joined with our conference, the fourth ICCGANT 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. Now we consider that there are some participants at that time were not so ready to present their topic, or they have a business to do. Then we give another chance to all of you. Especially we have noted there are 10 participants. Hopefully they will come even a bit later today, but I notify there are at least 4 participants being a speaker today who will give a short talk to all of you to share an idea in especially combinatoric graph theory and application, as well as applied mathematics, either in engineering, either in education, or other side of knowledge. But before we give the opportunity to all the speaker today, I'll give a bit of application of graph theory, especially, and try to relate to other aspects in real life. So let me share my slide presentation. So this is about graph theory, and of course I should talk in English because we will exercise by using English for international communication. Please allow me to share because I am still disabled to share my slide. Yeah. Host, please allow me to share. I am disabled to share. Okay, please.
Get ready, Prof.
Yeah, okay, yeah, now it's ready, yeah. Host is forget to give me as a co-host. So please give as a co-host for the speaker, yeah. Okay, this is about the application of graph. The slide may be in bilingual language because this is also I used for subject courses in my lecture, yeah, in undergraduate student. So audience, there are a lot of scientists in graph theory, especially in Indonesia. We have the very famous person, very top one, Professor Edi Baskoro. He is my academic brother, as well as Professor Slamin, also my academic brother, because our supervisor is the same. She was Professor Merka Miller. So when you go the top left, in the top level, there is some Professor Merka Miller. But unfortunately, she has been passed away. She already passed away 3 years ago. She gave very much inspiration about the progress, the advance of graph and combinatorics research interest in Indonesia. Now we have a lot of scientists, a lecturer who are working on combinatorics, and we have a society, namely Indonesian Combinatorics Society. Yeah, then the president of the INACOMS now is Professor Slamin. He is also working on combinatoric and graph theory. He is a lecturer in the University of Jember. In the University of Jember, we have also research group, namely ICCGANT, Combinatoric Graph Theory and Network Topology. We are happy to inform you, to invite all of you to be a member of ICCGANT. If you are a member of ICCGANT, then someday, if there is a conference, we will give you a discount. Yeah, then we will give a card member or whatever. Then you are noted as a member of ICCGANT. ICCGANT now already organized a lot of conference, either international or national conference, and as well as coaching some schools, either in the elementary and junior and senior high school. Now we are happy because there are a lot of SD Islam Al-Abror who joining this host conference. We are a ICCGANT member supervising them, especially teaching by using Internet of Things. Now we are talking about different things, a bit different with the educational side. We are talking about graph theory. Graph theory involved in the discrete mathematics. Discrete mathematics consists of two of knowledge science. Firstly is combinatorics. Secondly is graph theory. So actually when we talk about mathematics, so mathematics is started from the real life, actually, a real phenomena, whatever, especially in nowadays life. There are a lot of mathematics knowledge inserted and integrated in the technology and engineering. When we talk about big data, either data science, data analytic, data engineering, all of them are all of them need a mathematics. But when we talk about mathematics, normally we do not consider the dimensionless. We do not consider the time frameless, and we do not consider the space, sometimes spaceless. But what we consider, we only consider about the variables. This is the ego of mathematicians. Sometimes they don't care about whatever, they just care about variable X, Y, Z. And when we ask them, what is X, what is Y, what is Z? And they said, I don't care, whatever. That's a mathematician. Yeah, so mathematicians sometimes enjoy with their life. In Indonesia, sometimes it is similar. Mathematician is what paranormal, for example. Yeah, because mathematician can predict something, can interpret something. Then we end up with the mathematical model. So whatever, when you talk about system of linear, when you talk about equation, function, and everything, that's actually the face portrait. You only looks some picture, some graphic as a visualization. That's a mathematics. But we end up, the mathematical model are split into two cases. The first cases is deterministic model, and the second cases is a stochastic model. Stochastic model, normally people talking a bit and a lot in statistic, probability. So discrete mathematics, as well as some part are deterministic, and some part are stochastic. But in this case, we have two model of deterministic and two model also with the stochastic, namely continual model and discrete model. When you talk about discrete, normally in the elementary level, teacher always talk about discrete because they always talk about number, integer, yeah, either that's whole number or natural number, and a bit talking about a fraction. So discrete normally start in the early student school level. Now, what is a graph theory? Graph theory actually part of the discrete mathematics, which was begun from the existence of the bridges of Königsberg problem. So look at the picture. The bridges of Königsberg actually is in Germany, but I'm not sure that there is exist anymore or not right now, because I never been to Germany. When I was in UK, I just went to Amsterdam, Holland, France, but I never went to Germany. But okay, what is in Germany? There is a river. The river divided the area of some part of Germany consists of 4 areas. And the top of the river, there are 7 bridges. 7 bridges. In this case, we indicate with the red sign that the bridges. Ya, ada cat merah, itu adalah jembatannya. And there is a scientist, is very famous scientist in that era. He is Leonhard Euler. As a mathematician, 1736, he was died, asked to all the people as a problem, if you can travel from a certain area by crossing each bridge only one and return back to a certain area, then you can solve the bridges Konigsberg problem. Saya Indonesia kan, andai kata kalian bisa berangkat dari sebuah daerah, melewati jembatan hanya satu kali dan kembali ke daerah, but the condition that you should cross all the bridges, none of the people can solve that problem. Actually, this is easy problem, but it was not solvable. Tidak ada orang yang mampu menyelesaikan. And then the Leonhard Euler announced to every people, and Leonhard Euler has a beautiful daughter, and he said, if you can solve this problem, and then you can fix my daughter as your wife. Beautiful daughter. No people can solve that problem. Yeah. And Leonhard Euler, finally he solved his problem, and he said it is not solvable, as because this is Eulerian problem, because the number of Konigsberg bridges are odd. If the number of the Konigsberg bridge is 7, then we can solve it. And finally, the bridges Konigsbergs are drawn as a graph. If we have 4 areas are noted, are signed by alphabetic A, B, C, D, and the connection to all area are signed by ages, then it is a graph. Ya, itulah yang dimaksud dengan graph. So, graph is not physically just like a geometry. Geometry shape like a triangle, square, or cycle. In graph, actually, all those representations are in imaginary part. Yeah, an imaginary vision. A, B, C, D could be area. A, B, C, D could be people. A, B, C, D could be vertex. A, B, C, D could be whatever. But the connection is just relation. So, when you have a real world situation, also can be described as a graph. So we have only 2 elements in a graph: points, lines. Points could be people, point could be cities, point could be computers, then line could be joining pair of friends, road joining pair of city, and connection between pair of computers. That's all the graphs. Yeah. So look at now social network. Yeah, do you use a Facebook? Maybe Facebook is not getting popular anymore, but okay, yes, still. You use Instagram, of course. Yeah, and then you have in Instagram who already watch your status, who already see your Facebook post and everything. And in the Facebook, you see there is a friend. There is a common friends. For example, here we have Facebook's Friendster here, Andi, Joko, Evi, Santo. And Santo is a friend of Wayan. Santo is a friend of Andi. Santo is a friend of Joko. Evi also. Then you can see that how many friends does Santo have? Of course, Santo have 6 friends. By graph representation, it is easy to consider who has the most friend. It is easy to consider who has the less friend. Yeah, because graph representation. Again, in the forest ecosystem, food chain, for example, we have a lot of animals. animal also, of course, eat some other animals because they are in the forest, in the jungle. No, people will feed them. Yeah, otherwise people will be killed by the tiger or the lions. Yeah, then they eat each other. For example, there is an ox there, ada anak panah. It indicates the directed graph. So graph could be undirected. Yeah, this is undirected because there is no arc, tidak ada busur, and could be directed because there is an arc. Nah, kalau Bapak Ibu membayangkan animal satu, misalkan sedang dimakan oleh animal lainnya, animal satu is eaten by animal two, animal one is eaten by animal five, animal 10 is eaten by animal, animal one is eaten by animal 10, and finally animal one does not eat other animal. It will be dying, yeah, soon because they don't have any food to eat. So you can forecast the forest, especially the ecosystem, who will be dying, who will be shortages in this short future. Then you need a graph. So biologists as well need a graph. Yeah, people. Chemical compound, you know, benzene, hydrogen, and carbon consist two by chemical compound. And there is alkane compound. The formula is CnH2n plus 2. And this is also graph representation. And then if you can find any, for example, n equals 3, n equals 4, or of course you have C4, and then H10. And then the equation raise, how many combination of chemical compounds you have. If yes, are there uniques? If they are uniques, and then you can are they optimal. That's a graph. As well as if you, as a school teacher, you will have a timetable for exam, for example. You will have a timetable for classroom. Then you can develop a timetable by using a graph. How many teachers do you have? For example, in here, you have 2 teachers. Teacher 1, teacher 2. And how many classroom do you have? How many students do you have? If it is timetable for exam, then you have a teacher 1, teacher 2, student 1, student 2, student 3. If the teacher should examine each student, and there are 2 teachers, of course there is a connection. For each teacher, they have 3 connections because the teacher should examine the 3 teachers. So this is also a graph representation. Then how to have a schedule for this one? Then we need a coloring of graph. What is the principle of coloring of graph? Yeah, you have a coloring. So you just color. This is by 1, by 2, by 3. The principle, the connection which has the same vertex cannot be assigned the same color. So this one here is not because same. So this one here should be something different. For example, 1, and this is 3, and this is 2. Yeah. Oh no, this is 2. The same because 2, yeah, have the same vertex. No, it doesn't. So you have 3. This is 2. So 1, 2, 3. Yes. Now, what is the first shape of the time schedule for exam? And the second shape and the third shape. The first shape is which one? Guru 1, G1, examine a student 1. Yeah, that is the schedule. And Teacher 1, Guru 2, examine the student 3. So that is the schedule. So if you have any graph representation, and it is easy to draw the time schedule, to see the time schedule for this one. Now another graph representation, an application, and then we call also here is very popular problem. It is traveling salesman problem. A traveler wants to shortest path, of course, through all the cities. For example, if someone, a post officer, will send some what goods, for example, because the people give and distribute a souvenir to all people in the certain area. Then in the certain area, for example, in the residence accommodation, for example, there are a lot of housings. There are here A, B, C, D, E, F, G is the housings. And the post officer should consider which house we should start. And after the certain house, and which house should we go? In such a way, all the travelings part should be as minimal as possible. So this is the traveling salesman problem. What route should be and city state. Now, when you have this one, of course you start from C, goes to B, goes to A, goes to F, goes to E, goes to D, then goes to G. And finally, if the H weight considers the length of the distance, say in kilometers, and this part takes 113 kilometers. Yeah. And the question now, it is the shortest one? I believe no, because we can have the others shorter one. What is that? Start from A, and then G, and then F, and then A, and then D, and then C, and then B. Then the other one I should ask, is it the shortest one? And finally, no. There is another shortest one there. What is that? Okay, finally we have this one. Yeah, start from B, C, D, G, H, F, A, and then finally, then we have 84. From the beginning that we have found 113 and getting down and getting shorter, 85, and getting shorter again and 84, then of course people will consider the shortest one. That's the traveling salesman problem. And now it's getting very, very large problem, especially in the real networks and the local area network and the wide area networks. People much thinking about how to have a very large of connection, but very shortest of the diameter. Because if it is short, if it is shortest diameter, and then we can have an efficient connection, and then we can also have a short delay for the sending messages or sending something. Now, maybe I should give to Ibu Elsa. Probably there is a participant or audience will ask something to me, then maybe ask whatever, either joining something with the SIGANT member, for example, and also whatever. Because SIGANT not only talking combinatorics and graph theory, we also talk about the application of hypertext, hypermedia for the teaching and learning process, especially by using a video maker and everything. Okay, give it back to Elsa, and please ask some audience whether they have a question or not.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. David. This is the new knowledge for us. So, for audience, any question or discussion with Prof. David about this topic, or any or something to ask question, the audience can using Zoom group chat or raise your hand. For audience, any question or discussion with Prof. David?
Yeah, all right. If there is no questions, I should continue. Can I continue, Elsa?
Okay, Prof.
Yeah, okay. That's the traveling salesman. Yeah, okay. Now the definition, application of graph theory and the apartment design, especially when you consider about the connection of the access point. When you develop apartment design, especially in the skyscraper design, if in our house, private house, maybe we have no so much access door and access door, but in the apartment, of course, at least there are a lot of 13 or 17 and others above hundreds floors, and of course there are a lot of door, there are a lot of room to build up. The contractor also consider the connection if there is a fire. If there is a emergency fire, of course they should consider about the exit way. The exit way should be accessible, should be very, very shortest. In such way, if there is a fire, people in the top building can get down easily, can get down faster. That is the important thing. Now, if we have considered this one is an apartment, and this numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is the access point. Yeah, so it means number 1 can go through 2, number 2 can go 3, number 3 can go to 4, number 4 cannot go to anywhere. Number 2 can go to 5, number 5 can go to 7 because there is access door there, and number 5 can go to 8, but 8 cannot go anywhere, otherwise they can get back to number 5. If there is a lot of access door, yeah, access door, for example, then we need a graph to draw it. Otherwise, it is very hard to consider which is the connection, the shortest connection, and in each building should consider also the kitchen, for example, should consider also the living room, should consider other everything. So then by representing graph theory, then it is easy to understand. Then it is a 3 in a graph. A 3 is a uncycled graph. Actually, it's a 3. A 3 is a graph which no cycle. Then you can consider there that in this case, the number 5 have very access point to number 6, number 7, number 8, number 2. So people who are living number 5, actually it is easy if there is a fire. But dangerous for number 10s, the room number 10, if there is a fire, they should go through, they could pass number 9, they should pass number 2. It is not a good. So the contractor should consider which one the best connection. Of course, the connectivity is a part of the what we call the study of this kind of graph. The other one, audience, we have also another application of graph. This is the most that I like very much, and in the civil engineering, we call this one is a space syntax. Ya, Bapak Ibu bisa lihat di Google namanya space syntax. Space syntax has a lot of graph theory application there. What is space syntax? Normally space syntax talk about the urban transportation. Urban transportation part of the geography transportation. If someone from geography, someone from civil engineering, sometime maybe we can have a joint research about the application of graph theory in space syntax. But before that, I just give you a little bit explanation about the space syntax. In, of course, what in graph theory meaning. Yeah. Okay, this one. Today, of course, a lot of people think about space syntax. Yeah, because space syntax is very popular. When we talk about space syntax, then we have a transportation connection. We have also very large connection, either in the land, in the river, or in the air. So this is a space syntax. Yeah, space syntax. So what is a space syntax? Then we have this one. Yeah, transportation, geography. Space syntax is a science-based, human-focused approach that investigates relationships between spatial layout and a range of social, economy, and as well as environment. In space syntax, normally, we have an issue, three issues is very important: connectivity, integrity, intelligibility. Actually, this by graph meanings, then space syntax can be analyzed very nicely. Consider this is the urban transportation. When you are in the city, of course, you cannot see any paddy field there. You cannot see any backyard with the very greens, what garden, for example. All the space are filled by a building. And the smart city, the connection is very important to have a shortest connection. The connection could be to the rail station. Connection could be to the cars or bus station. Connection could be to the charging station, and any place. Not also in the land, also in the river, or also in the earth. And surprisingly, when you draw the connection, then it is a graph. It is a graph. So graph consists of only one vertices as well as consists an edges. That's a graph. When you have a software, this is a 3D contour graphics of urban land, then you can start by drawing the contour to use this contour to implement a space syntax by means of graph theory. So look at this one. That's S line of space syntax. And finally, we have this one. Yeah, this is a space syntax. But it is, of course, very hard to find what the connectivity, because connectivity is getting larger and larger. But how it is work? Space syntax is considered to draw something which is very easy. When you consider the nice thing of space syntax, You just consider the blocks of a skyscraper building that you saw before. For example, in this case, you see the S line before and how to develop the S line. And you have a picture in geometric. This picture is a building, for example. This is a building. It is a building block. This is a building block. Then we need to draw an S line. S line. Drawing S line, S line, S line. And then what happened? And we have an axial lines. Axial line are drawn crossing the line set of the most number of its line. So in this case, look at this one. We have most number of S line in the middle because the red one is fully covers the space in the middle. Then we start doing the X line. Keep going to draw the S line such that all the red line vanish, such that all the red line deleted. And finally, we have the final one, that's the axial line. This is the final one. From this case, then you have a graph representation. When you have an X line, axial line, say that the root, certain root are assigned by alphabetics A, B, C, D, A, F, G, because the blue lines, we have 7, and you can consider that is the vertex of graphs. And the connection between each root to other root, the accessibility between each root to other root, then we consider is an edge. So finally, we have this graph representation. That's from the urban transportation. We can also draw a graph. I try to have this one, a joint research with Kamaraswamy from India, because his background in geography transportation. And finally, I said to him that we can have a graph representation from the urban transportation network. And finally, they surprised because he never used this one before, because space syntax are normally used by civil engineering people, not in geography. Normally in geography, use the existing software, but not using a space syntax software. And hopefully we can get this one. Now, the nice thing of graph, especially in this kind of thing, in the space syntax, there are a lot of things. We can consider the root is a vertex. We can consider the root is an edge. It depends on the in which perspective we are going to study that. Yeah. So graph theory has a lot of application in any aspect of life, not only in our science for science in mathematics, but also in every, especially now in disruptive technology in the 21st century era, that we always deal with the internet, more specific one in the pandemic era. We work from home, we all the time use internet. Then we need to have a shortest connection. Okay, I'll give it back to Elsa again. Hopefully there is a question, and if not, then I will finish my talk as the initial brainstorming for the participant who will give a talk in this session. Okay, Elsa, it's your time.
Okay, thank you, Prof. David. This is have a question from Ms. Nurlaila Akbaro about the membership of ICCGANT Research Group. Is there any contact number, or can you explain what should I do to be a member of ICCGANT?
Yeah, thank you very much. Ibu Nur Laila. Now we will establish the sort of like a card of a membership, but for being a member, it is easy because all the people in the screens here, Elsa, Sigan, Ibu Ika, and also Melissa, they are research assistant of our research group. So they are a person in charge, yeah, for the processing the membership of the SIGAN. So please let me know if you have any further requests, and please Elsa write some numbers or whatever in such a way Ibu Laila Akbaro can easily being a member in our research group. Yeah, so you can call me and also call Elsa, call Melissa, call Ika. So you can write your mobile phone number, or should I write the mobile phone number, so whatever in our chat room. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Prof. For our audience, if you want to discuss or have any question, please using Zoom group chat or raise your hand. For audience, this is the Lailatul Masrurah. Okay, please unmute.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Nice to meet you. Okay, I'm Lailatul Masrurah, Prof. I'm from SDN 5 Patokan.
Okay.
It's very happy for me to know this and joining the conference with you. It's about mathematics, but you know that I'm primary school teacher, Prof, in SDN 5 Patokan, and this is the problem is mathematics, as we know that this is very a scary lesson. You know that mathematics is very scary lesson, not only for student, Prof, but also for the teacher itself. Sometimes the teacher doesn't understand the theory, the material of the mathematics, even if it is only in primary school, but many teachers cannot understand the theory of mathematics and how the I mean that's how the students can understand the mathematics, can interest the mathematics, while the teacher itself cannot mastering the theory. So if you don't mind, Prof, could you give us some advices for how to make it to implement the teaching learning process in school, in classroom, so that the teacher and the student can get connection. I mean that can you know, that is the link between the student and the teacher. I think it's very important for us as the teacher to mastering the mathematics, but the fact is hard for us. I mean that's the teachers, some of teachers, to understand the mathematics, because this is a very scary subject, I think. If you don't mind, can you share your experience and your about this knowledge to make the students and the teacher can interest in learning mathematics? I think that's all, Prof. Thank you very much for your advices.
Okay, Elsa, can I answer Ibu Laila Masrurah question?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very happy to see Ibu Laila in the screen. Yeah. She is elementary school teacher, but her English is very nice, and she is a mathematics teacher. Yeah, Yeah. So this is proof us that the mathematician not only smart in teaching a symbol or variable, but also smart in communicating in English. Yeah. So very proud of us. Yeah. To be a mathematician, to be mathematics teacher. So I will try to share and try to answer. Even this is very hard questions for us. All the times we think about the teacher competence. There are 4 teacher competence. The first one is pedagogy. The second one is professional. Third and fourth, I believe, no need to talk about this one here. Pedagogy, now in getting classroomless teaching process, we all the time now use Internet of Things to teach mathematics. But of course, when we teach mathematics through the internet, the first one should be considered the creativity and the uniqueness of mathematics. How to solve a certain mathematics. For example, if we have an operation of mathematics, there are 4 operations at least: addition, subtraction, whatever, multiplication and division. Try to see our source in our YouTube account. We have so many resources there. When you go to YouTube, just go to FKIP Universitas Jember. Yeah, it is our account. We have 413 videos and 11.9K subscriber. Even we have a faculty, we already a faculty, but number of subscriber is more than the university have. Then you have here a video. Look at the video. There are a lot of a learning process by using video makers, either Camtasia, Filmora, Bandicam, Kinds Master and everything. You can use it, but not only use that. Please develop a video, especially teaching mathematics in a pandemic era. None of the teaching methodology will be effective because we do not see our student in the classroom. We do not see our student even in the house club study, for example. We just see our student in the screen. Even we do not see them. Just say hello, say message, ask them to do something, Of course, mathematics will be scaring the student because we do not use a media of pedagogy, media of teaching and learning. So a lot of content there, a lot of there. So everything mathematics there. Yeah, we have 400. Not only mathematics. But when you talk about mathematics, then you can say a math tricks, for example. Yeah, this is another aspect of the mathematics. Matrix for calculation or matrix, that's the keyword. When you say matrix, there are a lot of people there. 26 fast metric you must know. There are a lot of people, teacher in other countries, create the matrix. Yeah, look at this one. Okay. That is the way how to teacher in other country teach mathematics. Yeah. Look at that. Amazing, yeah. They're a lot of fun, yeah. Yeah. What I'm thinking now, as because the teacher teach mathematics procedurally, and because the teacher teach mathematics in old-fashioned way, just based on the textbook, and then students get bored.
Yeah,
why don't we
that's right.
try to find a new way for all the case of the mathematical formula, especially in the elementary school, because you just deal with the whole number all the time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 until and so on. Even you have also a fraction, it is might be a very simple fraction. Try to find out using internet to find out a good way and develop a video and share to your student. But the main thing in the video, you are as the model of the video maker, not other people. I believe your student will be interested in learning mathematics. So there are two things that you should maintain, not only pedagogy, but also professional competence. It is the advancements of the content knowledge, the innovation of the content knowledge should be maintained as well. In such a way, the teacher should have PKIA. What is that PKIA? Productive, creative, innovative, and the nice thing, the last one is affective. Affective means you not copywriting other people result, but you should develop by yourself. So please, in the pandemic era, especially develop a video, just like our institution already developed as our student. We have more video. If this video is also useful for you, you can download, you can use it. But I believe the best one is how to develop video, and you are as a model in that video to teach, especially mathematics, also to teach other subjects. So I believe that's all for me. Yeah, maybe there are a lot of speakers already joined with us. Hopefully you can enjoy, and hopefully this meeting will be benefiting to all of you. And thank you again, Ibu Laila, who already
Thank you very much.
asked about it. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Davik and Miss Lailatul Masruro. The next question may be for other audience. For audience, any question or discussion? with Prof. Davik.
Ya, yes, ya cukup ya Ibu Elsa.
Okay, thank you,
So
Prof.
thanks again for the audience who already joined with this post-conference. We have a commitment. Once you can finish your paper, we already have an MOU signed between SIGAN and JOP, and all these selected paper, of course, we will publish in JOP conference series, which is indexed by Scopus. Now for the at least 60 paper already submitted to us under reviewing process, and we still invite some other people to submit your paper after presentation, and then we will submit your paper to be published in the job. Again, thank you very much and enjoy your session. Thank you. Wallahu muwaffiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Davik, for the new knowledge and for the new inspiration for me, for us. Okay. Okay, the next session is the parallel session. For the parallel session, my name is Elsa as moderator for the parallel session. Okay, the presenter. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. In this occasion, you are on the parallel session of post-conference for ICCGANT 2020. Welcome to virtual room. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Elsa, as a moderator of this virtual room. Okay. Today, we are going to lead you to present your submitted papers. Secondly, I will read the rules of this session. Number 1, the presenters will be Mr. Gede Satya Utama from Universitas Erlangga, and the next is Mrs. Hasna Samia Rohani from Universitas Negeri Jakarta, and the next is Mr. Toyipur Imron from Polimedia, and the next is Mr. Darman Fauzan Dahir from Kominfo Makassar, and the next is Mr. Ibnu Hadi from Universitas Negeri Jakarta, and Mr. Galih Gozi Febrinanto from Universitas Brawijaya. Number 2, each of you has 5 minutes for presentation and 5 minutes for discussion. Number 3, please share your slide of presentation by using share screen. If you have any trouble, we will help you to share. Number 4, other participants can ask questions by using chat or raise hand. Number 5, don't leave this room during the session and at the end. Okay, for the first one, please welcome Mr. Gede Satya Utama from Universitas Erlangga with the title Utilization of Metadata Analysis Software in Accounting Research. For Mr. Gede Satya Utama, time is yours.
Thank you, Ibu Elsa. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining this session. My name is Agung from Universitas Erlangga, and today I will present my paper with my supervisor, Professor Basuki, also from Universitas Erlangga. Allowed me to share screen my presentation. Can you see my slide?
We can see, sir.
Thank you very much for Universitas Jember for her nice conference. Today, I will present my paper. The entitled is Utilization of Metadata Analysis Software in Accounting Research. We are from Universitas Erlangga. And today, the article coverage, I think is not usual, it's not general with the other articles. Start with introductions, research method, and the conclusions, also limitation. But special in this article, I try to perform and to show how to analyze some coverage topics using metadata analysis, especially in qualitative software analysis. I use four sophisticated software like Publish or Perish, Dimensions, Lens, and FIFO. And the article will cover in the beginning, in the abstract, we talk about the contributions of the research, contribution, research method, data collections, and the implication of study. And the next, we explain the introductions, yeah, why we use this analytical method. And then separated chapter, and next for pre-introduction, and the last one is not conclusion or still to be continued. Why? Because we use qualitative research, so there is no end for the conclusion, but still continues to improve our methodology. And the objectives of the study and the terms of condition apply, we show the metadata analytical software to perform for expected output is theme and content. And generally, the output of this research is the theme and the content analysis, and also how to conduct sophisticated software to do analytic of some of the topic. Because my background in accounting, so the topic area in accounting research, especially in the culture, and then executive in the corporate or companies, and also the last one is the narcissism. So the keyword restrictions of my study is culture, the accounting, and narcissism. This article, this study, separated into four chapters. Yeah, I separate into 4 chapters or 4 files with the different titles. And the last, I try to combine the all separated into one article. So today, this is the one of the merge the others article. So I think it is not useful not only for in the accounting, but maybe in the others topic in the others area. It's very useful. It's very powerful to analytic methodology, and especially for the academic research and also for writing techniques. Okay, this one, the reason this study is integration paper, and because this is qualitative, it's very, very subjective. It depends on my point of view, my background, and looking the disclosure of the subject, the object of my study. And the chapter 1 in the separate paper in the separate article in chapter 1. The title is the Publish or Perish for Hofstede's Culture Dimensions. So the keyword of the section of this research is masculinity and the feminism. And I think the POP must be applied in the academic purposes, and the process start with the registration, and we log in to the website, and then type the keyword restriction, and finally we cannot be generalized the result of this study by POP, publish or perish. And the chapter two, I tried to looking at the dimension website for literature review and the content analysis. This analytic is free access software and most sophisticated to analytical technique, yeah, especially with content and the thematic analysis. The audience can try to search in the Google and type to dimension website, dimension software, and this is free access. Yeah, the start with the type of the keywords, and then not take much time to looking the analysis with the visualization is very interesting with table, with the graphic and the mathematical and the amount, yeah, the amount or number of the article depends on our keywords. And the chapter 3 in my article, I tried to looking the systematic review, yeah, systematic review using Lens. Lens is applications, yeah, Lens also. It's similar with the dimension, similar with the publish or perish. We explore the some topic, yeah, some topic, the coverage topics, yeah, depends in our point of view, our keywords. And the last one in chapter 4, this is the sophisticated also. It is very famous software. The names is N54, yeah, the N54. This is qualitative software for content analysis. And because this is not the end of our paper, so I still try to promote, to introduce the implementation of N54 and the conduct N54 with the analysis. And this is the last of my presentation, and this is not the conclusion of my study. We still continuous improvement. We still explore the methodology, especially for systematic analysis, for literature review, for academic research, and for rating. And I think we agreed that this study have some of limitation study because this is only for accounting research. So we need to deeply more exploration, deeply more explanation, and add some references, because when I wrote this article, I didn't use anything theory, I didn't use anything literature. I think enough for my presentations. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bu Elsa.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Agung. For audience, any question or discussion from the presentation? Any question? For audience, any question for the presentation of Mr. Agung? There is no question.
No question. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Okay, the next presenter is Mrs. Hasna Samia Rohani from Universitas Negeri Jakarta with the title Two-Phase Method in Affine Scaling Algorithm for Linear Programming Optimization.
Ibu Elsa,
okay.
Yeah, we can give more time to the speaker in such a way there is speaker can present a little bit flexible. Yeah. So if you can have, if you need more like 10 minutes, it's okay, no problem. Yeah. Otherwise, sometimes it is to rush. Yeah. To yeah. Okay, Ibu Elsa. Yeah.
For the next presenter or back presenter? Mr. Agung presenter, Prof.
Ya, maksud saya berilah waktu lebih banyak kepada peserta supaya tidak kesusu, tidak terlalu cepat. Ya, bisa 5 sampai 10 menit. Ya, tadi Pak Gede mungkin masih ingin menyampaikan sesuatu, monggo Pak Gede. Waktunya masih banyak ini. Ya. Ya.
Okay, Mr. Gede, you have 5 minutes again for discussion with us.
Yeah, I think I just the simple simple story about my topic, because this topic, this study, our study is not taken from some literature or some the theory. We don't have used anything theory, but we try to explore the utilization, the maximization using analysis, analytical software, analytical software for a big data, for the metadata, for the analytic of metadata, to construct for like a systematic literature review, for content analysis, and for thematic analysis. And the term and the condition apply, the condition apply of this study. And maybe the other subject area is not just for business, for management, or especially in accounting, but the academic from statistic, mathematics, or in the other subject can apply, can implement this analysis, this analysis. This is very easy to use. It's very helpful to analysis, to get some answer for your research questions. The first time to conduct this methodology, this analysis, is you have to keyword restriction. Jadi sudah harus punya batasan keywordnya apa. Like our study, we have some keywords: accounting, narcissism, and the cultures. And the special for this study, this research is not like a common paper, because I write in the separate paper, 4 papers separated, try to merge all into one paper. So the one paper I present today. This is still I think it's still new, as we're not done to write. We still write and try to promote, and then to introduce for the all audience to use this software. Thank you, Bu Elsa. I think that's enough.
Okay, Mr. Agung. In the research of Mr. Agung, this is the analysis of software. Nah, saya mau bertanya ini, Pak. What the result of the research of analysis software about accounting research? What the research result?
The output of my study, because we analyze 4 for qualitative software, yeah, I said qualitative software. So the output is content, the content analysis, the content and the thematic analysis. It depends on your background. Yeah, for example, your background is in education, and maybe the keyword is refer to your education, like high school, or maybe education, or maybe action research, anything else. Yeah, and then my paper also perform how to process. Yeah, how to collecting that data. Yeah, from the metadata from the website, and then we analyze using that software, and then the result, and then the show to show the flow of the analytical process.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Mr.
Thank you, you're welcome.
Now the next presenter, the second presenter is Mrs. Hasna Samia Rohani from Universitas Negeri Jakarta with the title is Two-Phase Method in Affine, Scaling Algorithm for Linear Programming Optimization. From Mrs. Hasna, time is yours. Mrs. Hasna, you have 7 minutes.
I'm sorry, I need to said things here and there, so probably I couldn't make it now. Maybe can you do me a favor of maybe I could be the next presenter?
Please keep continue to Elsa. Ibu Hasna will present later, yeah, because she is preparing now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still preparing some. I'm sorry, I apologize
No problem.
for the inconvenience.
So will you present today? Yeah, in the afternoon maybe. It's okay, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will you present today?
Yes. I think I can make it now.
You can make it now. Okay. Okay. Please.
Okay. Okay, no problem, Mrs. Hasna.
I'm still unable to share my screen. It's Hasna Samia without the photo because I have to account from the laptop and the phone.
Okay, are you ready, Mrs. Hasna? Okay. The slide is okay. Mrs. Hasna, please unmute your microphone.
Ibu Hasna. Ya mungkin apa dilanjutkan ke
Next presenter, Pak.
Ya, silakan next presenter. Ya, Ibu Asna mungkin masih persiapan.
Okay, Mrs. Hasna. The next presenter. Okay, the next presenter is Mr. Darman Fauzan Dahir from BBPSDMP Kominfo Makassar with the title is Scaffolding Elementary Students in Solving Mathematical Problems and Experience. For Mr. Darman, time is yours. Mr. Darman, you have 8 minutes for
Okay, good.
presentation and 2 minutes for discussion. Thank
Okay,
you.
good morning, everyone. Is my voice clear?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Let me introduce myself. My name is Darman Fauzan. I'm from Ministry of Communication Informatics, which focus on communication research. I'm a researcher, a junior researcher from Makassar. Well, I'm going to present my presentation, which entitled Scaffolding Elementary Student Solving Mathematical Problem, an Experience or a Study Case. Well, excuse me. Mathematical subject matter doesn't emphasize the results, the process of the work. In previous studies found that the failure of students to solve mathematical problem may be caused by ineffectively of the students' mathematical communication. Thus, they may need certain scaffolding. Mathematics has a negative impact on the workload of the teacher, as previous audience asked that sometimes the teacher doesn't master the problem of the mathematic matter. So this research question, as now students have a learning from home policy, and they are accompanied by their parents to solve problems. So the question is how parents who are not all mathematical teachers can lead their children to solve the mathematical assignment correctly. That's the question. The current research is a descriptive qualitative study which use interactive analysis model of Miles and Huberman analysis, which consists of collecting data, reducing and display, and also making conclusion. It uses 2 or 3 data collection method, which are participant observation, semi-experimental, which means what if I do this, what if I do this, what is the result? Then it's been noted and collected. Also using documents analysis, which analyzes the students' textbook of their work in solving mathematical problem. The research was done in the New Year's grade of students. We start from July until September. 2 for students who were elementary students. Two students are from elementary school and 2 students from the junior high school in doing mathematics problem. The result, students are pessimistic to do the math assignments. Their reason are they didn't understand the explanation of the teacher had given to their online. Even some students are given explanation using video, as Prof. David said, but it seems that the students still didn't understand, even they have been given the explanation. The investigation found that why they didn't understand because the video are too long and they couldn't ask where the numerical certain numerical is put, why it's put there, why like that. It's not the step guidance is unclear. They also use the internet to help them complete their task properly, but they often fail because uh, sometimes the question is not same as the internet show. Also, the internet guidance sometimes jumping. It's not clear step by step. So, as the semi-experimental design, we help them to solve the problem using ideal and also human error analysis standard. And we found them, even some question they didn't understand. Why? Because the matter had not been understood too, so they couldn't do. After explanation, even they have admitted they understand the question, but some students are also hadn't been able to do their task. Even the formula has been shown, even an example has been shown, sometimes they couldn't. So they should be detailedly and personalizedly given instruction to do the sign from reading question until a problem solving, even until the evaluation to check back their answer right or wrong. Based on the result, we conclude that communication that of the success of the student, which is the initial factor that determines whether or not student can solve the math problem, is their understanding of the grid that is informed by the problem and identification of what being asked. Number two, clear question can let students to solve mathematical problems, whereas too many surprises or puzzle will harm them to solve the mathematical problem. Next, also the detailed instruction, also clear instruction should be provided for them to solve the mathematical problem. Otherwise, they couldn't do. They couldn't do. The final conclusion is each student need personalized scaffolding provision. I think that's all my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Darman. Maybe any question for the audience? If no question, I would like to discuss with Mr. Darman. Okay. In this research, what's the instrument? What the instrument you can use in the research, and what the theory based on this research? Theory.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
Here, the instrument was a qualitative instrument, which is participant observation. All data are noted recorded using notification or using video or recording. Also, we use the result of students' work. We analyze them all, then making the result also the conclusion. The theory needed was the ideal that state that students can solve the mathematical problem based on the ideal. Ideal is an abbreviation of identification, identify, define, explore, act, and look. Look means evaluating. Then also we use the Newman error analysis, which state that students may fail doing their work because they are miss in reading the question, also miss in processing the answer, and miswrite the answer. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. This research based on observation,
Yes.
right?
And also semi-experimental method.
Oh.
Semi-experimental method is question, what if I do this, what happen? What if I do this, what happen? That's it, a semi-experimental method.
Okay. This is the analysis method, right? Analysis method.
Yes. The analysis method is using Miles and Haberman analysis interactive. This analysis model is when you get some conclusion, you may return to a previous stage, which is recollecting or retest the result. So every time we get conclusion, it shouldn't be the final conclusion, but maybe return to the previous stage of analysis.
Okay, thank you, Mr. For the other participant, maybe any question? If no question, the next presenter will be. Okay, thank you, Mr. Dharma.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I saw Bu Nurlaila want to ask question.
Okay. Yeah, Miss Nurlaila Akbara. Okay. Mrs. Nurlaila Akbara, you can unmute. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the opportunity for me. I'm a teacher of Al-Abrar Islamic Elementary School, Situbondo. In this pandemic era, we already try to teach remotely from home. Can you explain to me how to apply the scaffolding theory during this pandemic?
Okay, should I directly answer, Bu Elsa?
Okay, Mister, please answer.
Okay. How to apply this scaffolding? Now, my research is based research for me to make the theory or proposition how can parents in providing scaffolding for the student, because based on my finding that too long video a hint that let a student to answer the question is not watch all. They only watch a little and they have been boring. So maybe if you want to let them now for my temporary conclusion, you can make a short video only that teach them a little of your method. So do not explain all, but a little by a little. Maybe they can more understand about that. Thank you.
Okay, so
I
we
think
actually
that
need parent support during this pandemic. So I think that if we teach about it, if we explain to students, we also should explain to parents how to explain the
yes.
method, the lecture. Is that true?
Yes, is that true? But that is true. But there is another problem that maybe parent could not provide several time for accepting the material. That's another
Yeah.
problem. We're gonna make the another research for that.
Okay, thank you for the answer. I really appreciate that. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Laila. Okay, the next question maybe. If no question, I will call the next presenter. Okay, thank you, Mr. Darman.
Thank you.
Okay, the next presenter is Mrs. Hasna. Maybe Mrs. Hasna ready? Mrs. Hasna, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Okay. The next presenter is Mrs. Hasna from Universitas Jember Jakarta. Universitas Negeri
Jakarta.
Okay. Universitas Negeri Jakarta with the title is Two-Phase Method in Affine Scaling Algorithm for Linear Programming Optimization. Okay. For Mrs. Hasna, time is yours.
Thank you for the opportunity. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Can you hear I'm talking?
Yes, it's clear.
Oh yeah, because I have no response. All right. Glad to be back here to the fourth ICCGANT. I am very honored to present the second time presenting my paper entitled Two-Phase Method in Affine Scaling Algorithm for Linear Programming Optimization with two other authors, which are my thesis supervisors, Ibu Eti and Pak Ibnu. Well, the main reason why I chose this topic because the task of decision making in optimizing linear programming entail choosing between various alternatives. Well, we live in a very economical circumstances that needs to allocate given resources to a very effective, efficient way to gain enough profits to gain much profits. So we found another option of for the optimizing problems, regardless of the simplex method that remain a popular solution method in current situation of the practical linear programming problems. And there come interior point methods, which has several branches. They are central paths, path following, karma car, and obviously the affine scaling algorithm itself, which will be discussed in this paper. And the first one who introduced the affine scaling itself was I.I.D.Kin. He was a pioneer in the field in 1967, and his scaling method was able to compete with the simplex method as applied to realistic problems after all long trials and errors. And affine scaling claimed that the iteration are calculated not only the boundary but in the interior of the visible region, which is a very contrast to SM method. The basic idea to approach optimal solution from this method are First, we start with an interior solution. So we need to choose a initial solution in the interior of visible set. And we test it if it's fulfill all the objective function, if this fill the satisfies the constraint problems. If current solution is good enough, then stop. And otherwise, we need to check all direction to improve the movement of the initial point itself to a better solution, and then we can stop there. So it requires iterative method and resulting in sequence of interior points that converge to an optimal boundary point. So the convergence and the convexity of this method are guaranteed. And two-phase method have has an important role in this method, which supports the actual affine scaling by providing an initial feasible solution. So here is the illustration of the movement, the difference movement between SM method and interior point. So we need to find an initial solution in the interior of the visible set. The SM may have to visit every vertex to reach the optimum solution, while the interior point method moves along in the visible set into the optimum solution. Next, given an optimization problems in standard matrix form, this method is bounded in minimizing problems form, and so minimize Z equals transpose C with X subject to Ax equals B, where X needs to be positive. And C, A, and B are the cost coefficients, linear constraint coefficients, and resource availability. And we need to make sure that two criteria of a point X, starting point X, to be in interior for a feasible solution. First, properties AX should be equals to B, which means every linear constraint is satisfied. And second properties will be every component of X needs to be positive. So the algorithm consists of two phases, which are phase 1 and phase 2. In phase 1, we need to make sure that the starting point that we chose has fulfilled the previous properties, and we need to create an artificial solution to check if it is feasible. If the artificial variable phi equals to 0, then it means that the X or the starting point itself is feasible. Then we can go to the next step to the actual algorithm. Otherwise, we need to create new form of the optimization problems into this form. And then after that, XO1 is an interior feasible for phase 2, and we can apply this to the actual affine scaling algorithm that happens in phase 2 as an initial solution to the iterative method. After we pass the checking step from the phase 1, we can determine the square matrix that consists of the initial point itself. And since the initial points needs to be equidistant, the initial point should be near the center of the feasible set. Scaling matrix is a way to rescale coordinates of the initial solution to transform it to near the center of the feasible set. Here is the illustration what I've said about equidistance. So this is the starting point that suppose that this is the starting point that we have chose, and we need to make it near the center of this visible set. The point should be equidistant, or it has to be in the same distance into every boundary. So here are the boundaries. This is the starting point we have chose. We need to move this point into the center of the visible set to make it more efficient to go to the optimal solution. Next, we could calculate new constraints, which are A and C, given as follows. And so the question will be which way to go for the starting point to the optimal solution. We need a good feasible solution, not only good, but also it needs to be feasible. It needs to be in the feasible set. What I mean by saying good direction is a current solution is a direction that leads to a new solution with a lower objective value. Since the optimization problems needs is in the minimizing problems, the objective value should be strictly decreasing. So good direction could lead the current solution into a lower objective value. And um, we found that the negative gradient means C, and negative C is a candidate of being used to the lower objective value. But another problem that it doesn't always guarantee that it satisfies the feasibility properties. It is very contrast of what it should be. It should be in the feasible direction. Next, to fulfill the feasible direction, since the feasibility criteria Ix equals B and X should be positive, like the previous slide, we need to take in further step to projecting the negative C gradient using a projection matrix. So here comes the step 3. We need to calculate the projection matrix negative C with a projecting matrix P given as follows to maintain its feasibility. And then we got the good feasible direction by calculating these two variables. So here is another illustration of the gradient C. Here are the null space of A, which is the new constraint. And this is the direction that moves along in the feasible set. Next, we need to calculate reduced factor cost. This is as additional support to the lower objective function. So it has a major role of creating a lower objective function. Next, we already have a direction to move, but the other question will be how long step we will take to reach the optimum solution. To every direction we take, how many steps that we need to reach that optimal solution. So we keep in the feasible set, not going outside the feasible set, and we meet the right optimum value. And we could calculate the step length alpha k, that the small step length can cause x close to the boundary. So the greater the alpha, then the better. Next will be we need to calculate new point after 1 iteration. So this is the new point. This is the starting point with the step lengths that we will take and also the direction that we should pursue. And then after we determine the new point, we need to define stopping criteria to obtain optimal approximation value in the solution. We need, so the new point needs to be tested if it is satisfies all the properties given this objective value. C transpose with a new one and the current one. If the new one is less than the old one, then the solution is optimum. And here is another properties that should be satisfied. Otherwise, we could apply the new solution to next iteration, starting from the step 2 until the new point satisfy all the stopping criteria. So this is almost the end of my presentation. Two-phase method in advanced scaling algorithm has the view of increasing the efficiency of the original problem since the two-phase method itself makes sure that the starting point lies in the middle of the feasible set to make the movement, the step length way more efficient and to reduce the number of the iteration required to obtain an optimal solution of a given linear programming problems as compared to already existing advanced scaling or compared to already existing optimization methods and can be alternative amongst any other LP optimization method. I think that's all about my presentation about my paper entitled Two-Phase Method in Advanced Scaling Algorithm for Linear Optimizing Problems. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mrs. Hasna. For our audience, any question for the presentation for Mrs. Hasna? For audience, if you want to discuss or have any question, please using Zoom group chat or raise hand to question. Okay. Audience, any question? If no question, the next presenter. Okay, thank you, Mrs. Hasna. There is no question. The next presenter is Mr. Falih Gozi. Okay, Mr. Falih Gozi, are you ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay. Now the presenter is Mr. Falih Gozi Febrinanto from Universitas Brawijaya with the title Blockchain Technology Framework for Improving Massive Open Online Course. Okay. Mr. Falih Gozi, time is yours.
Wait, I will share my screen. Now, are you able to see my screen?
Okay, I will see.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name Falih Gozi Febrinanto. Currently, I'm studying master degree, and I graduated from Brawijaya University from Faculty of Computer Science. And right now, I'm doing a research, namely the implementation of blockchain technology using for improving massive open online course. This research is joint work with Professor David. This is for the background of the research. So what is the massive open online course? So massive open online course or MOOCs is a model that is developed to help people to learn about certain skill through the online platform. So there are some example of the MOOCs. The first one like EDX or Coursera, Khan Academy, Udemy, and all of them. So basically it's about the online learning through the internet. So there are some contributor or organization who helps the online courses so people can access to that platform. So there are 4 terms of MOOCs. The first one is massive. It means that classes may consist up to 100,000 students and also open, so we can register to the platform from around the world, and also online. It means that the course will be taken completely online, and also the course. There are so many kind of courses based on our background, so we can easily choose which one that we want to take. And what is the benefit of the MOOCs? The first one, we don't need the real classroom. So absolutely, because we will help the class online. And the second, there are so many choices of course, and it will enhance the freedom of learning. And also for the time frame is flexible. We can access it anytime, anywhere, and from any place. And the last, the equivalence of the recognition of the MOOC certificate after the completion. So in this research, we are going to focus on the last benefit about the recognition. So we already know if we are doing the online classes, it's sometimes hardly to find the good resource for the certificates, or also we don't know how the authenticity of the certificate. So we use, there are some problem here for certificates of completion after we are finishing the MOOCs model. The first one is retention. So how to store that document in the long life terms. And the second one, forgery avoidance, how to avoid the duplication of document, because we worry if there is manipulation about the document of certificate of completion. And also for the recognition, how to make people in institution or stakeholder are easy to recognize their certificate. And also for accessibility, how to make people, institution and stakeholder are easy access to the MOOC certificate. And the last is about trustworthy, how to deserve a trust or reliability from users. So with that problem, we are using a blockchain technology to minimize the potential problems. So what is blockchains? Blockchains is, if we refer at the two term, the first one is block and chain. The block, it means we can store the information and will save it into chains. It's different with the traditional database. If we use the traditional database, we use only one point of failure. But if we use blockchain, we will spread our data in several nodes or several computer around the network. So in blockchain, we also can store the information about transaction as well, like date, time, and maybe the amount of money if we recently purchased some stuff on online store. And also block can store the information with participating in the transaction. So this is the example of the best practice of blockchain technology that widely approved. Like currently we are using it in cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. If we want to send money, let's say from Alice to Ben, we can create the transaction, and after that, the third step, we broadcast it to every nodes in the network. So it's different with traditional database that has only one server, but with the blockchain, we broadcast it to many nodes in the network. And then after we broadcast the data, we can make approval and validate it using a particular algorithm. Usually it's used cryptographic algorithm to validate the transaction in blockchain. And the next step, after it's successfully approved, and then the data will be added to the chains. And the last, finally, Ben can receive the money from Alice. So this is the flow of the money that will go from Alice to Ben using blockchain technology. And what is the importance of blockchain technology in massive online courses? The first one, by using blockchain, the certificate of completion can be generated from MOOCs and it can be published and recognized officially. The second one, blockchain implementation also helps validate the authenticity of the certificates in a reliable manner and eliminates case of certificate forgery or manipulation. And the last, the importance of blockchain is blockchain technology can store data of participants who have complete existing courses permanently and cannot be deleted. So it will be there long last, and we cannot alternate it, and it will store safely. Then in our research, there are some research gaps. The first one, there is still unclear the framework to implement the blockchain technology in MOOCs model. And the second is it's still unclear about the challenge in implementing blockchain technology in MOOCs model. And the last, there are very few studies were found to explain the step for implementing blockchain technology in MOOCs model. So we are also make two research questions. The first one, how to implement the blockchain technology for improving the massive open online courses. And then the second, how is the optimal design framework for implementing blockchain technology for improving massive open online courses. And this is our methodology. The first one, we did internet exploring to get data, and then we also have done with scientific source search, and also we did reading process, and then we go to the focus group discussion, and then the last for reviewing and reporting process. Finally, we got this framework as the implementing the blockchain through the MOOCs. The first one, when we are going to implement the blockchain, if the student has finished the course, then the system will request transaction data for the certificate of completion, and then the transaction data of the completion certificate will broadcast to the peer-to-peer network that consists of many computers there. And also the next step, the network of nodes will use some algorithm to validate the transaction, whether the certificate is authentic or not. And the last step, after it's successfully will be validated, the new transaction data is added to the chains, uh, the the regular chain, and then it's provide a permanent and transparent record of data. So it will be transparent, so everyone can access the record of their data anytime and anywhere. So this is our reference. And also, yeah, I think that's all my presentation for today. Thank you for your attention. I'll give it back to the moderator.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Fali. Any question for the presentation of Mr. Fali Ghazi? Any question or discussion with Mr. Fali? For audience, any question or discussion for Mr. Galih presentation?
Bu Elsa, I want to ask Bu Elsa.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
Mr. Agung, with the question.
Okay, Pak Fali, thank you for your presentation. I think it's very interesting to apply the blockchain, the blockchain for the MOOC. Could you review or refresh the methodology, the methodology of your research until the research question is solving? Yeah, thank you.
Yep. All right. I will try to answer that. So in this research, we did like a scientific search based on the publication through the internet. And after that, we combine it and try to correlate it with the MOOCs. And then we also search for the previous model that it has been implemented in different areas, such as supply chain, and then for the storing data in the company. And in this research, we are trying to implement it and make some framework to the MOOCs model. So I think that's it.
Okay, one more. Which is the blockchain's application?
Yeah.
Which one the blockchain applied in your research?
So yeah. I get that question. So we will apply the blockchain technology to improve the approval of the certificate of completion in the online courses. If we are already know right now, if we complete the courses, we will get certificate, maybe like hard certificate, hard soft copy. And if we implement the blockchain technology, because blockchain technology will store it permanently, and we can access it using a computer everywhere, and it will make the certificate of completion in the online course will be uh, accessible for people. So we don't need to worry about the authentication about that, and also we don't need to worry about uh, the the certificate it's reliable or not. So yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, thank you, Pak Fali. Thank you, Bu Elsa.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fale and Mr. Agung. Maybe any question for Mr. Gali presentation? If no question, the next presenter is Mr. Fakru Rozi. Oh, this is the question for Mr. Fale
Yeah, I
from
can see
Mr.
the
Darman.
question. So the question is, so the blockchain technology using in MOX model is used for certificate, of course, not for the learning teaching process. Yep. In this case, in this study, we are going to implement the blockchain technology for improving the certificate of completion. So we know that it's hard to rely on the regular database, and also there are a lot of manipulation, and we can also make not make certificate by out. So we can, if we use blockchain, the transaction will store, and people we can access that transaction, all that transaction. So it will convince them that the certificate will really from the institution, not the manipulation one. So that's one.
Okay.
Is there any other question?
Any question, Mr. Darman? Okay, it's okay. The next question maybe from other audience. Okay, enough. Okay, thank you, Mr. Fali.
Thank you.
No question. There is the next presenter. The next presenter is Mr. Fahru Razi. For Mr. Fahru Razi, are you ready, Mr.? Mr. Fahru Razi? Is no answer. Okay. Mr. Fahru Razi? One. Okay, the parallel session is the end. Well, all presenters have presented their paper. Hopefully, we get new knowledge and new inspiration such that we can create some papers with good quality. This is the end of this parallel session. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you and see you. We return this event to the MC right now.
Before returning the session to MC, I'll give a concluding remark, Elsa.
Okay, Prof.
So,
David.
audience, thank you very much for all your share session today. Hopefully, you can finish your manuscript either in the literature review type or in the research article type. You are more than welcome to submit your paper to our conference organizer. And after that, we will proceed further, and we will use a standard peer reviewing process before sending to GOP conference series. Please make sure that the first one, English is nicely written and according to structure and no many grammatically error and also typo error, as well as also you need to have IMRAD, so introduction, method, result, and discussion. Either the method cover the descriptive qualitative or descriptive quantitative is okay. You are more than welcome to submit, and at least make sure that you have a number of pages, at least 7 pages, and of course the number of pages of discussion is more than the other ones, like introduction or even the conclusion, whatever, because I ever found some in what discussion result finding is less than the introduction. It is not good. Yeah. And also make sure the similarity as well. The similarity should not exceed 35% for the total similarity, and also no exceed 5% for the single source similarity. So make sure that, otherwise sometimes even we accept your paper, but GOP editor reject it. If the OP editor reject your paper, then it is very hard for us because we couldn't proceed further. So I believe SIGAN organizing committee for ICCGANT will give you a notification when you should submit your paper and also should finish the manuscript of the paper. Again, thank you very much. Hopefully this session will be benefiting to all of you. So thank you again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you, Prof. David, for your concluding remarks, and also all of participants and paper presenter in this post-conference. Big thanks for your presentation. And ladies and gentlemen, finally we get to the last session in this event, that is closing. Let's close this event by saying Alhamdulillah. As the master of ceremony, thanks to all paper presenter and all participants in this post-conference ICCGANT 2020. May what we had conducted will be useful for us. And ladies and gentlemen, if in guiding this event I made mistakes or offend someone here, please forgive me. Before closing this event, please turn on your video for photo session. Please turn on your video for all participants in this event. Okay, the next. Okay, next slide. Next slide. Get ready, Miss Ilsa.
Okay, good.
Finish. Okay. Thank you for all participants in this event and Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.